Before I can crimp the other end of the battery cable, I had to make me a new set of crimpers. You only get 2, maybe 3 crimps out of the split nut method, so I made me a new set. Well, we got an opportunity to do some painting. That muffler bracket, pretty rusty, so I'm going to use, I've already wire brushed it, so I'm going to use some of this stuff, and it says it's got to dry 24 hours, so yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and get that on there, and we'll leave this outside for now. I'll give you a quick update where I'm at. I went ahead and ran the headlight wires that I'm going to need later on. So we got positive, negative. They're hooked up to the headlight switch. I've got the positive battery terminals off because I want to do electrical testing hopefully shortly, and I don't want the starter hooked up. I'm currently working on this up-down switch for the PTO. So it looks like for the ground I need a terminal with 2 wires on it, and I'm going to have to make one for the positive. So I went out in my other shed and I found this terminal here that actually should work for me for the ground. While I was out there, I found a headlight harness. May come in handy later on. I had to pick up my heat shrink, and I'm currently working on the terminals for the switch. For the positive wire, well, it's been out of the sun for a while, so this is more realistic is what it feels like out here. Actually comfortable. I've had the doors open pretty much all day. I'm getting ready to solder terminals onto the wires that go back to the rear. But a little tip, I'm using alligator clips to keep that heat shrink from falling all the way down. So yeah, I just thought of that, and I'm like, yeah, that should work fine for me. Well, I'm ironing out ground for the switch, and I think the best place for me to get it, because I can't get back in there anymore, is I'm going to come down and I'm going to follow this wire that grounds the engine, and we're just going to tie them 2 off down there to that engine bolt. So yeah, I just got to put an end on it now. Believe it or not, the bench was clean this morning. So we're ready to start electrical testing. So I'll show you a trap you can get into on the kill switch. If it's actually hooked up, the coil gives you a reading of 3 ohms. So that's without the kill wire hooked up, which is not saying that the coil may be bad or not, but yeah. So anyhow, I've got the wire hooked directly up to the kill wire, and we can cycle the switch. Switch is on, which means it's open. Off, the coil's grounded. So we verified the kill switch. So the next test I want to verify is I've got the meter set to 20 volts, and I've connected the meter between the negative terminal and the connection for the negative terminal. So right now we're showing 0 volts, which means if I turn the key on, okay, we should be good. So that means I can hook the negative terminal up safely. So before I get too far, I hooked this light bulb up to the wires that I'll be using for the headlights. So obviously the tail light, and I put a motor on the lift up and down, and I put a little black stripe on it, so when we do the switch, we'll verify the motor runs one way and then the other. All right, I got the battery hooked up. I think I may want to get a longer negative cable. That one was pretty tight, but for now we can check some things. So I'll turn the key on. We should have power. I'll try the lights. Okay, front lights are going to work. Tail light's still working. All right. So next is the switch. Not sure what the voltage on that motor is, so here we go. That's one way, that's the other. So switch works. Motor didn't like it. Okay, so for this next test, we're testing where the starter wire is going to connect to the solenoid to see if we got power. So I put you up on the tripod. I hooked the light up again up here so we can see if it works. So we'll try it with the clutch up. Nothing. So now I'm going to push the clutch down. Solenoid works. So the last test unfortunately failed. And it's a good thing I put a 5-amp fuse in there because I just watched it pop. So for that test, we hooked the transformer circuit back up to the charge wire, which goes through the diode. And then as soon as I grounded this to the engine, popped the fuse. So yeah, I gotta diagnose the charging circuit. Something's not right. I think I'm gonna call this quits for here. I gotta take all this back out. And once I get it out, I'm going to replace the ground wire with a longer one, check the charging circuit, and finish bolting down the dash tower. So yeah, that's for tomorrow. Thanks for watching.